Hi guys, it's Debbie, and today I'm here to speak about one of my favourite films, Trainspotting, and in particular I'm going to speak about the new trailer which has just been released of T2, so the sequel to Trainspotting. The first film was released in 1996 and is the story of a group of Scottish friends which deal with a series of issues almost always related to their drug addiction. Most of them are addicted to heroin and other drugs. This addiction leads them to commit crimes, end relationships, lose any contact with their families, and all a series of consequences you can imagine related to a serious drug addiction. The plot mostly revolves around Mark Renton, which repeatedly tries to quit taking drugs and wants to settle down with a normal, quiet life. His friends are Spud and Sick Boy, and then we have Tommy, who at first refuses to take any sort of drug. Then we have Begbie, who doesn't do drugs but is a violent psychopath who uses violence as his drug. He's completely out of his mind and he often gets all the other guys into trouble because of his violent mind. We also have a series of girlfriends and lovers, including Diane, which is the girl that Mark dates. The film is famous for being particularly graphic, so we have close-ups of drugs being injected, we have explicit sex scenes, we have one very graphic moment in which Mark Renton has a close encounter with what is called the worst toilet in Scotland. Regardless of this, Trainspotting was screened at the 1996 Cannes Film Festival and it had an enormous unexpected success and is now one of the most successful independent films ever. It was actually voted by the public the best Scottish film of all time, and it's number 10 on the list of 100 best British films of all time. It's also one of the most acclaimed independent films, also because of its soundtrack, which features Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, Underworld, New Order, just to mention some of the artists that are featured here. The film and soundtrack was so popular that in 1997 a second soundtrack was released which also contained songs that didn't appear in the film or that were used as an inspiration in making the film. The film is directed by Boyle and is based on a novel called Trainspotting by Irvine Welsh, which also makes a cameo as a drug dealer in the first film. The second film is based on the sequel to this novel, which is called Porno. I personally have never read the second book, I've only read this first one, so I have no idea of how the plot will continue. In the second film we see the same group of friends, so Mark, Spud, Sick Boy and Begbie, but apparently they haven't learnt from their mistakes in these 20 years that have passed, because there's still a massive amount of drugs, violence and general illegal activity going on. I appreciated the fact that the directors tried to keep some of the most iconic moments from the first film and insert them in this one. For example, we have the scene in which Mark stops in front of the car and laughs, obviously the iconic Choose Life monologue, references to the walk in the countryside scene, the ending song, the football match and so on. The first film opened with a monologue, the famous Choose Life monologue, in which we were invited to choose all a series of useless first world necessities such as washing machines, dental insurances, game shows and so on. Obviously in the opening scene then Mark says that he doesn't want to choose any of this because he has heroin, but the message of the monologue was actually that concentrating our time on wanting these things is just a total waste of our existence. In the trailer for the second film there is again the Choose Life monologue, but this time we're invited to choose some much more modern time wasting activities. So we are invited to choose social media, we're invited to choose Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, then we're invited to choose revenge porn, reality TV and so on. And in the monologue there is the sentence, hoping that someone somewhere will care, because these are the activities that we now waste our time on. It's not the 1996 electrical tin openers, but the point is still the same. So the new film will definitely be triggering a lot of memories from the 1996 film. I'm curious to see how the situation will play out, because the friends didn't part on the best of terms at the end of the first film, and I think that Begbie hasn't improved at all, regardless of his age, as we see him screaming, climbing over toilet walls, hitting people, and has a fridge absolutely stuffed of drugs. Diane will also return in the second film, a teenager, which looked and acted much older than her age, and she used to hang out with complete strangers and have sex with them and smoke after school, and now she returns and is a total adult with her life sorted out, with an office job, and seeing her after all these years was so exciting, and she definitely has a lot of potential. Before seeing the trailer, I was terrified that An attempt at concluding the Friends stories would have just ended up in ruining all the first film's legacy, but after seeing this trailer, I definitely have really high expectations. I'm definitely confident that this will be a very good product, as we see our group of friends, which are now real adults. They were adults at the time, but now they are actually in adulthood. They have more responsibilities than just getting into a discussion with their parents as they used to in the first film. There is a lot more at stake in their lives, so I definitely can't wait to the beginning of 2017 to see this film. Let me know if you saw Trainspotting with a comment here below, and let me know what you thought about this new trailer. See you soon in a new video. Bye!